defense was phenomenal. 85 points, the lowest that Minnesota scored all year. All right. They won. Look, Luka was sensational, 31, 12, and 9. LeBron and Austin Reeves were much better than they were in game one. I get all that. But the Lakers won it with their defense.
Yes.
They won it with their defense. They only shot 21% from three. All right, so they weren't great offensively outside of that first quarter. And they were great in the first quarter, but offensively, and I'll get to that quickly, but the defensive approach, it was mental. Like it was almost a reverse of game one. Game one, the Timberwolves took it to the Lakers with the physical play, the toughness, the effort, and the Lakers did that this time. It was effort and physical play, all of that. I will say this about the offense, though. The offense was sensational in the first quarter.
And then not.
Right. But you could, if somebody wanted to say, well, I mean, that got them the big lead, and then the defense held it up. And what they did, well, here's what it was.
Okay. They
hit the sweet spot, because there's a sweet spot you have to hit between when Luka's cooking, but have him cook within the flow of the offense. And I give Reddit credit. A lot of times Luka was getting it. It wasn't really the elbow. It was up, extended above the elbow. But that elbow three-point line area, he was getting it there. They would like pass it to him, he'd get it there, and then go into work. So it was almost in an offense.
Yes.
So he would get it, and there's player movement when he gets it. And so he's hitting guys with passes and doing his thing versus him just bringing it up court and going 1-on-5 and everybody watching. So they had a lot better player and ball movement. So that got him the lead, and then the defense sustained it. So very impressive if you're, for the Lakers.
Listen, the Timberwolves hit 5 threes. The Lakers hit 6. The Timberwolves shot 25 free throws, made 20. The Lakers shot 20 free throws, made 20. So those were almost a literal wash. The difference was the Lakers' defense, and the most impactful, most engaged, best defensive player on the court was the oldest guy on the court, the oldest guy in the league, and that was the story of the game from the opening tip. Luka was sensational offensively. And Luka was actually pretty damn good defensively. But the guy who you saw from the very beginning that was setting the tone defensively was LeBron James, and he also made the single biggest play of the game. The Lakers had at least a 9-point lead for the final 40 minutes of this basketball game. And there was a moment, though, in the fourth quarter when the Lakers could not make a shot that it looked like, oh, man, are the Timberwolves all of a sudden going to force a panic timeout and be right back in this down 7 after this possession where Luka got hung up in the air with just under 3 minutes left? Luka doesn't really know where he's going, throws it away, and then LeBron James against 23-year-old Anthony Edwards. Steal, through contact, layup, game over. 11-point lead, 2.5 minutes left. The Lakers were probably going to win at this moment. They were definitely going to win at that moment.
Okay. This is not a game that really can be reduced down to a single moment. I think that's just kind of foolish, quite frankly. I think the level of intensity and the intentionality that the Los Angeles Lakers brought, that was specifically brought on by LeBron James, is why they won this game. I mean, when you win a game 94-85 and you're shooting 20% from 3, all right, and you got your guys going 0 for 6, 1 for 5, 0 for 2, and you're still able to come away with a win. This was not a possession-based game, quite frankly. This was a game that was messy, a lot of wonky foul calls for both teams at that point. Like it was definitely a lot of ticky-tack fouls. But what you were able to see LeBron do is just, this was a typical put your head down and get to work. LeBron knew that he was going to have to do a lot of this dirty work. And this is why, again, I always talk about this. The box score, especially in basketball, just never really shows the whole story. Because you saw from the jump, I mean, it was the first thing you see is how LeBron was like getting low, in a great defensive stance. Like it was like he was he was like teaching kids like how to like play defense. Like it was so reminiscent of a coach who was like, come on, you got to get low, right? This is when you're in your power position, be on the balls of your feet. And it was just like, it was literally like I got brought back to being like 15 at a camp or something. And like, that's what LeBron James did. LeBron James was just like so engaged, and you can see like that sets the tone. He knew that he was going to be focused. It was put my head down and get to work, not necessarily put my head down and just put up points. And, you know, the one thing that should concern you, though, for the Lakers is this shooting, and you're at home. You know, 6 for 29, 20% from 3 at home. Like, typically you shoot better at home and you play worse on the road, especially in the playoffs. And so, like, that is somewhat concerning. I think the score is a little bit misleading, you know, 94-85, because it never really felt like the Timberwolves really had a chance to really kind of get their momentum. Yeah, they were able to cut the lead a little bit. That's why that one play at the end, it doesn't really stand out to me as much. I get it if they scored there. Now it's 90, 83 or something. But it was just like, it was just clear that the Lakers were in control of this game throughout the entire game, from the tip-off, from the jump. That's why it's just like there is no single play that was like, okay, that sealed the deal, because it didn't to me. It really didn't. It was tough for Ant to get going. A lot of the players for the Timberwolves got into foul trouble pretty early on, and it really disrupted their physicality, their flow. And the Lakers were able to deal with the ups and downs of a game just significantly better. And I just think the maturity and the experience of LeBron is really ultimately what won this game, more than just some of the more superficial things. And a play like this highlights that LeBron had with that steal and then, you know, driving down the lane. But he did that type of stuff throughout the game in so many little moments that it's hard to just kind of necessarily single out one. And he was really the only player, and I said this in my Herd video, that the way how LeBron played here was like, you know, again, you can look at the box score, you can look at, you know, Anthony Edwards having like an awesome dunk and really, you know, showing some great athleticism. You can see Luka, who just, you know, it's kind of crazy. He shot 9 for 20, but it felt like he couldn't miss. Like in important moments of the game, the ball went down. And so you could be like, oh man, that guy can score. And LeBron, it's just like, you could immediately see, if you didn't know who LeBron was at all, and this was your first time watching him, you would just be like, that guy knows everything. You're like, that guy knows everything. Yeah, it's just, the game is moving so slow for him, and he is the one that he's using his mind more than any other player out there. All these other players are using their athleticism, they're using their speed, their power, their agility, their shot, whatever. And you're like, oh, that guy, right? It's like the whole playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers type thing. And you can just see it. And this was kind of a perfect game for that to kind of for that to really, you know, be screaming in a game when Austin Reeves is going 0 for 6 from 3, and, you know, Hachimura dealing with kind of whatever he was dealing with being hit in the face and whatnot. It was just a great overall game, and I think it's, you know, it's interesting to be able to win this game 94-85. Not shoot particularly well. Like, I would feel better about a win like this if it was on the road, but the fact that they won this game at home in the way they did, that's where I'm still kind of like, I'm so interested to see what game 3 looks like. I'm interested to see, because LeBron, he is playing a lot, 40 minutes, he is doing all the work, he is engaged in defense, like he's playing on both ends, he's being physical. It's just like, I said this in my Herd video, it's crucial that the Lakers wrap this series up as quickly as possible. Having to go back to LA and then go back to Minnesota, playing 6 games or 7 games, like that's exhausting. That is going to put LeBron James in a deficit, and to do that in round 1 really kind of puts you on your back foot. So to me, it goes so above and beyond for the Lakers to just rip off these next 3 wins, to just, you know, take care of business in Minnesota, go 2-0 there, come back to LA, absolutely wrap it up so you don't have to now go back to Minnesota. You just wrap it up, you're done, boom, get to rest up a little bit, and there you go. But going 6-7 games, I think that puts a lot of extra wear and tear, a lot of extra travel, that is, at this point would significantly hamper the Lakers, quite frankly, especially if you're still going to be getting some of this limited production out of some of these other players. And it's still obviously going to be so LeBron James driven. And honestly, it's very similar experience for the Warriors. The Warriors, bringing this home in 4 or 5 games is absolutely crucial. 6-7 games for the Warriors with Jimmy Butler, Draymond, and Steph, it's a deficit. And if they're playing each other too, to me, it's going to be like, man, what team has some extra rest? If the Warriors are able to finish this series out in 4, and I'm not saying they will, of course, I'm not saying they're going to sweep the Rockets, but if they were fortunate enough, and then it's a 6-7 game series for the Lakers, that's huge. If the Warriors go 6-7 games and the Lakers are able to finish this out in 5, that's massive. It really is. At this point, that extra rest truly matters. So at least being able to split at home was obviously better than nothing for the Lakers. But to me, it almost feels like they have to kind of play catch up because they should have been in a position to go 2-0 at home, just win 1 game in Minnesota, and then win their next game at home and call it a series. So it feels like they have to have a little bit of catch up, win both of these games on the road, because I would be concerned if they split again. Now it's 2-2, and now again you're pretty much setting yourself up for a 7-game series for back and forth travel. It's a lot to start off round 1 at this point in LeBron's career, and I think it really can become the difference between getting to the Western Conference Finals and not, quite frankly. So it's gonna be all hands on deck for sure. And again, you could see LeBron, the intensity of LeBron, the intensity that LeBron brought. Like, he knows it. You got to get these wins. You're not really in a position, of course, where you can go 0-2 and just be like, all right, we'll get things going. And even in a game like this, he only put up 21 points, which is obviously not earth shattering. And so, like I've kind of said in my previous videos, if there's ever games where you really need LeBron to put up 30, 35, just feels like it's not 100% going to be there. So Austin Reeves has to step up. Hachimura has to step up. You got to get those random threes from Vincent. You got to get those random points from Finney Smith. Like, it's got to happen. And the problem is it hasn't happened at home necessarily. So it's like, what is it going to look like on the road? That, to me, is going to really, really, really be telling for not only just the rest of the playoffs, but, of course, this series. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers? Are you impressed by their defense? Impressed by this win? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.